We begin today with somber news that weighs heavily on the hearts of millions. On the 22nd of April, 2025, a devastating terrorist attack unfolded at Basoran Valley, near Pahalgam, in Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir. 6 innocent tourists lost their lives. Over 20 more were wounded, victims of senseless violence they neither asked for nor deserved. The assailants, armed with AK-47s and M4 carbines, opened fire indiscriminately, shattering what should have been a day of beauty and peace into tragedy. A group known as the Resistance Front, TRF, initially claimed responsibility. TRF is widely understood to be a proxy for Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistan-based terrorist organization that has operated in the region for decades. Although TRF later retracted their claim, investigations have found digital trails and safe houses in Pakistan, pointing once again to an uncomfortable truth. This was not a random act. This was a calculated, organized attack, likely supported by forces beyond the border. 2 of the identified suspects are Pakistani nationals. Their names, their training, and their movements all tell a story too familiar to a region that has endured far too much bloodshed. Now it's easy and understandable to feel anger, to demand retaliation, to call for walls instead of bridges, fire instead of dialogue. And yet, amid the heartbreak and rage, a deeper question stares at us. Is this the future we want to continue living in? Because history teaches us something important. This cycle of hate and revenge between India and Pakistan, this endless tit-for-tat, has only deepened the wounds. It hasn't healed Kashmir. It hasn't built prosperity. It hasn't brought security. It has only created more orphans, more widows, more graves. Let's step back and understand how we got here. In 1947, 2 nations gained independence, India and Pakistan, carved from the same land, nourished by the same rivers, and shaped by the same ancient histories. What should have been a peaceful transition into freedom instead descended into horror. The partition displaced millions and claimed up to 2 million lives. From the ashes of that tragedy, distrust took root. Since then, India and Pakistan have fought 3 wars over Kashmir. In 1947, 1965, and 1999. Each time, thousands died. Each time, hatred hardened. But here's the reality. Kashmiris, Punjabis, Sindhis, Balakas, Bengalis. We all share a common culture that predates any line on a map. The art, the poetry, the music, the very soul of South Asia is a tapestry woven together, not torn apart. And yet terrorism continues to be used as a tool by certain groups to inflame hatred and prevent peace. Groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and their proxies operate with ideologies that have no place in the modern world. Let us be very clear here. It is not ordinary Pakistanis who plan and execute these attacks. It is extremist elements fueled by twisted ideologies and supported by clandestine networks who thrive on conflict. It is they who fear peace the most. Because peace means accountability. Peace means progress. Peace means an end to their relevance. And that's why we must not fall into their trap. They want India and Pakistan locked in endless hostility. They want every tragedy to ignite another war. We must be wiser than that. We must understand. The true enemy is not the neighbor across the border. The true enemy is extremism. It is hatred. It is ignorance. So what do? First, we recognize that justice must be served. The culprits of the Pahalgam attack must be pursued relentlessly. Their networks must be dismantled. Their enablers must face consequences both at home and internationally. There can be no compromise with terror. Beyond justice, we must also work for peace. Imagine for a moment, instead of a line of control, there is a line of collaboration. Instead of firing shots, we exchange ideas. Instead of exporting conflict, we export culture, technology, medicine, and education. Look at Europe, a continent that fought 2 world wars in the 20th century and now enjoys unprecedented peace. If France and Germany, with all their blood-soaked history, can become partners, why can't India and Pakistan? Yes, the history between us is complex. Yes, trust is fragile. Yes, there are deep wounds. But the alternative, endless conflict, is a future none of us can afford. And let's be practical. Both nations have nuclear weapons. Both have economies that suffer every time tensions rise. Both have millions of young people whose dreams are being strangled by the ghosts of old wars. The real victory will not be military. The real victory will be when a child in Lahore and a child in Lucknow both wake up with hope, not hatred. When they dream not of revenge, but of innovation, prosperity, and peace. How do we get there? Through education that teaches not just history, but empathy. Through trade that builds mutual interest. Through cultural exchanges that remind us of our shared humanity. Through citizen diplomacy, where people, not politicians, lead the way. The mountains of Kashmir, soaked in so much blood, can become once again a place of beauty and pilgrimage, not battlegrounds. The rivers of Punjab, which once carried poets' songs, can carry commerce and opportunity. And the dreams of a billion people can finally find freedom. But it starts with a choice. A choice not to let terror define us. A choice to fight hatred not just with armies, but with ideas. A choice to believe that peace is not weakness, it is strength. Today we mourn the lives lost in Basaran Valley. We honor them best not by more bloodshed, but by breaking the chains of history. It is time for India and Pakistan, for all of South Asia, to choose a different path. Not together as one nation, maybe. That ship has sailed. But together as neighbors who respect each other, who heal instead of hurt. Because the real fight isn't between India and Pakistan. It's between the forces of darkness and the promise of a brighter future. And that future, if we dare to choose it, begins now. Thank you.